Have you ever said yes to something you really didn't want to do, just to avoid disappointing someone? Or maybe you found yourself constantly apologizing, even when it wasn't your fault. If that sounds familiar, you might just be a people pleaser, and trust me, you're not alone. But what if I told you that this constant need to make everyone happy isn't just a personality quirk? It's a deep-seated psychological pattern with real roots, and today we're going to unpack it all. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why you do it, but you'll also have the first tools to start reclaiming your own needs and wants. So what exactly is a people pleaser? At its core, it's someone who feels a strong, often compulsive, need to gain the approval of others. They put everyone else's needs before their own, often at great personal cost. They're the ones who always stay late at work, lend money they can't afford to lose, and agree to plans they secretly dread. On the surface, they seem incredibly nice, agreeable, and helpful. But underneath, there's often a storm of anxiety, resentment, and a deep-seated fear of rejection. Let's get into the psychology of it. Where does this come from? For many, the seeds of people-pleasing are sown in childhood. Imagine growing up in an environment where love and approval felt conditional. Maybe you had a parent who was very critical, emotionally distant, or had high, often unreachable, expectations. As a child, your primary goal is to secure the attachment and safety provided by your caregivers. So you learn to adapt. You figure out that being good, compliant, and agreeable is the best way to avoid conflict, criticism, or abandonment. You learn that your needs are secondary or even a problem. This isn't a conscious choice. It's a survival strategy. Your young brain basically wires itself to think, if I make everyone happy, I will be safe and loved. This pattern can also develop if you grew up with a parent who was ill or struggling, and you had to take on a caregiving role at a young age. You became the responsible one, learning to suppress your own feelings to manage the emotions of those around you. Or perhaps you were the peacemaker in a family with a lot of conflict. You learned to smooth things over and keep everyone calm, and that role just stuck. These early experiences create a core belief: my value is tied to what I can do for others. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is the engine that drives people-pleasing behavior. It's not just one fear, but a whole collection of them. First and foremost is the fear of rejection and abandonment. For a people pleaser, someone being upset with them can feel like a direct threat to their sense of safety and self-worth. It triggers that old childhood panic of being left alone or deemed unlovable. Then there's the fear of conflict. People pleasers will go to extraordinary lengths to avoid arguments or disagreements. The thought of confrontation can cause intense anxiety, so instead of saying no, I can't do that, they'll say yes, just to keep the peace, even if it means sacrificing their own time, energy, or well-being. They believe that disagreeing with someone will inevitably lead to conflict and then, ultimately, rejection. There's also a fear of being seen as selfish. Society often praises selflessness and criticizes selfishness. People pleasers internalize this to an extreme. They've been conditioned to believe that prioritizing their own needs is inherently selfish and bad. The guilt they would feel from saying no or setting a boundary is often more painful to them than the stress of saying yes. So they choose the path of least emotional resistance for themselves, which is to please others. It's a vicious cycle. You say yes to please someone, which temporarily relieves your anxiety about being rejected. This reinforces the behavior, but then you're left feeling overcommitted, stressed, and maybe even resentful. This resentment can build up over time, leading to passive-aggressive behavior or emotional burnout because you're constantly running on empty. You give and give, but you rarely allow yourself to receive or even to ask for what you need. This can damage your relationships in the long run because they're not built on honesty and mutual respect, but on a one-sided dynamic of giving and taking. So how do you know if you're truly a people pleaser? Let's look at some key signs. 1. You find it almost impossible to say no. The word feels foreign in your mouth. 2. You constantly worry about what other people think of you. You might replay conversations in your head, analyzing every little thing you said. 3. You apologize all the time, even for things that have nothing to do with you. 4. You agree with others' opinions, even if you secretly feel differently, just to avoid rocking the boat. 5. You feel responsible for how other people feel. If someone is sad or angry, you feel an urgent need to fix it. And finally, you rarely have any free time because you filled it all with commitments to others. You feel exhausted, but you don't know how to stop. If many of these signs are hitting home, please know that you are not broken. You developed this as a coping mechanism that likely served you well at one point in your life. But now it's holding you back from living a truly authentic and fulfilling life. The good news is you can change this pattern. It's not easy and it takes practice, but it is absolutely possible. The journey starts with self-awareness. Just by watching this video, you're already taking the first step. You're recognizing the pattern. The next step is to understand that your worth is not dependent on your usefulness to others. You have inherent value just as you are. Your needs, feelings, and opinions matter. Let's talk about the magic word. No, it's a complete sentence. You don't always need to justify or explain it. Learning to say no is like building a muscle. You have to start small. Start by saying no to low-stakes requests. When a cashier asks if you want to sign up for a store card, just say, "No, thank you." That's it. No long explanation needed. Practice with small things, and it will become easier to say no to bigger things. Another powerful tool is to learn to create space between a request and your answer. When someone asks you for something, instead of giving an immediate yes, say, "Let me check my calendar and get back to you," or "I need to think about that for a bit." This gives you time to genuinely consider if you want to do it and if you have the capacity for it. Away from the pressure of the other person's presence, it gives you a moment to connect with your own feelings and needs. Start identifying what your own needs and wants actually are. People pleasers are often so focused on others that they lose touch with themselves. What do you like to do? What makes you feel energized? What are your goals? Start scheduling time for yourself, just as you would schedule a meeting for someone else. Protect that time fiercely. It's not selfish. It's essential self-care. And finally, be prepared for some pushback. When you start setting boundaries, some people in your life might not like it. They're used to you always saying yes. Their reaction is about them and their expectations, not about your worth. The people who truly care about you will respect your new boundaries, even if it takes them a little time to adjust. True, healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, not one-sided sacrifice. Remember, this is a journey, not an overnight fix. There will be times when you slip back into old habits, and that's okay. The key is to be compassionate with yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you so freely give to others. You are unlearning a lifetime of conditioning. Be patient. if these patterns feel deeply ingrained and are causing you significant distress, anxiety, or depression, seeking support from a therapist or counselor can be incredibly helpful. They can provide you with a safe space and professional tools to navigate these changes and heal the root causes of your people-pleasing tendencies. You don't have to do it all alone. Breaking free from people-pleasing is about learning to honor yourself. It's about building the self-esteem to know that you are enough just as you are. It's about creating a life that is not just about serving others, but about authentic self-expression and genuine connection. You deserve to take up space in your own life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope this was helpful. If it resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Take care and remember to be kind to yourself.